Alrighty, good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing us a couple of minutes. We had a couple board members and staff coming directly from another meeting. Um, We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I think we'll go ahead and do the pledge, and then let's do that. So, Director Jones, since you're in such a great mood, do you want to kick us off? All right, thank you. All right, so the first item we have on our meeting tonight is the budget hearing. So this would be the time that if anybody has any comments on the upcoming budget, that we will give a couple of minutes. We will also have time at our next meeting as well. Okay, seeing no comments, we have gotten through our first budget hearing. Is the board good if we just leave this open and we adjourn at the end? Because then we'd have to come back into a meeting at the end with the business items. I can call us back into order, or we can just move into the work session items. Amy, is there any issue with us doing it that way?
No, just,
We can strike the first adjourn.
yeah.
Oh, I guess okay. I
Yeah,
guess,
just announce that.
yes, thank you. You're right. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn the budget hearing?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, so we're done with that. But we will go ahead and call to order to move into our business items. Thank you for that clarification, Dr. Hill. I forgot we had to do that for the budget hearing. So we can go ahead and do roll call.
Mr. Chavez. Mrs. Evanson.
Here.
Mrs. Heights.
Here.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Ms. Lima.
Here.
And Mr. Chavez let us know that he had some family things this evening that he was not, that he had to take care of, so we knew that he would be gone this evening. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda for this evening?
Motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Mrs. Evanson.
Yes.
Mrs. Heights.
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Ms. Lima.
Yes.
All right, and in June, we recognize the Caribbean American Heritage Month. As a board, we like to recognize the different heritages that live in our community. So whereas Caribbean American Heritage Month is a time to celebrate the achievements and aspirations of millions of individuals of Caribbean origin living in the United States and to honor the shared history of resilience that has united and enriched our region for centuries. And whereas Caribbean Americans have made significant contributions to our community, enriching fields such as arts, business, education, journalism, technology, government, and beyond. Their pivotal roles in various social and political movements have helped shape American history, culture, and governance. And whereas June has been nationally designated as Caribbean American Heritage Month, providing an opportunity for all communities to celebrate and honor the enduring heritage and rich history of Caribbean Americans, and to reflect on their experiences, traditions, and accomplishments. And now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Mesa County Valley School District Board of Education recognizes June 2024 as Caribbean American Heritage Month and encourages our community to celebrate the history and contributions of Caribbean Americans to our city, state, and nation. All right, yes, we can clap for that. Thanks. Yes. All right, so next up in our work session, we have the Colorado Department of Housing Affordable Housing Toolkit.
So I know JJ is online, and his presentation really goes over everything, so I don't need to do much of an introduction. There he is. Can you hear us, JJ?
I can. Thank you, Dr. Hill.
Okay. And then I can't remember, are you going to share the slides on your end?
Yes, I
Okay.
am.
Cool. Well, with that, I'll turn it over to you, and you can walk us through the slides. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Pardon the delay here. Always something. Let's see. Switch. There we go. All right. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So thank you, Dr. Hill, for the introduction. I'm also here with my colleague, Brooke Murphy. We're from an organization called Community Builders. We are a small nonprofit organization. We work throughout Colorado. Brooke and I are in the Denver metro area, but we also have our executive director is in closer to your region in Glenwood Springs. Let me just start for a second. So we have partnered with Enterprise Community Partners, who is also, they're a national nonprofit that focuses on affordable housing, and they work on all aspects of affordable housing nationwide. Our team was contracted by the Colorado Department of Housing to provide a variety of local official trainings across the state, as well as taking a deeper dive for some communities that wanted to apply for technical assistance. So that's why we're here this evening. So last year, the Mesa County Valley School District applied for technical assistance from Colorado DOH at the beginning of the summer, and were awarded this technical assistance. So generally, I'll just give a brief overview of what the scope of work is for this technical assistance. So we assisted the school district with an employee survey that was launched in January of this year. We also provided a document of best practices and precedents for employer-assisted housing, particularly focused on schools, but there are some other examples in that document, a variety of opportunities and strategies and frameworks to help serve the housing needs of employees. We'll give a very brief summary of that. It's a pretty comprehensive document that will be shared with the board, and tonight is just a brief overview of that. We've also identified a variety of partnership opportunities. Our internal team that we met just about monthly, almost for the last year, included Dr. Hill, Clint Garcia, Rachel Talley, Nikki Jost, and Emily Powell from the Housing Resources of Western Colorado, and then Brooke and myself, as I mentioned. So I'm just going to give a brief overview of the survey. So as I previously mentioned, those responses were collected right after the holiday break at the beginning of this year in January. We had a great response rate as far as statistical data is concerned. Over about 40% of all your employees at the time, our understanding was about just over 2,800 employees. We know you've grown since then, but 40% of those employees filled out the survey, which was fabulous. And just a real brief overview of that survey. So across all the respondents of the survey, ownership is the primary housing status, which is good news for those that own houses. And this is for the age group of 35 to 54. And what we learned on that is that a lot of folks that have been in the region for a while have been able to afford their home. 82% own. And then at the even older demographic, 55 to 65, 87% own their homes. Yet the desired ownership rate, not surprisingly, most people want to own homes, is 90%. In this slide, this takes a finer grain detail and looks at the 25 to 34-year-old segment. The numbers are very different, as you can see here. 52% own and 48% rent, so almost a 50-50 split. And again, the desired housing status is 95%. Wish that they owned. So we asked a lot of questions about what are some of the barriers that people are currently experiencing. And the good news is 60% of folks said there are no housing barriers experienced. The bad news is 40% of the respondents said, yes, we are experiencing some barriers. So I'll just go over a few of those here. So almost 1 in 4 folks, employees said they're unable to afford their rent or mortgage. 20% unable to afford a down payment for those that are wanting to buy homes. And then 12% just lack of available housing in general when looking for a place to live. An open-ended question was, have you had trouble making housing payments while working for the school district? Again, just under 1 in 3 folks said yes. And some of the responses included salary and wages have not kept up with rising costs of living. Employees that are living alone on a sole income without supplementary income are having a hard time affording their home or rental payment. And then we saw on the previous slide, a lot of homeowners. Many of those homeowners are actually having difficulty paying for upkeep and needed home repairs and maintenance, particularly those living in older homes. Some of the older respondents expressed concern about their ability of being able to retire, or some even said that they're delaying their retirement due to the financial insecurity, which results in their housing costs. And in general, higher cost of living, just everywhere. You're not alone in Mesa County, statewide, nationwide. Inadequate pay, housing affordability challenges have forced some employees to consider relocating geographically or looking for employment outside the school district altogether. So not only moving to a different town, but some are just realizing they can't afford to live in the community at all or in the region. This is just a little bit more data describing what I mentioned about sole income earners. So over 50% of your employees earn a salary between $30,000 and $60,000, which is consistent nationwide. That I'll show, or statewide, I'll show in a second. But the total household income, that skews higher with households earning more than $70,000, and that's folks with a significant other or a roommate or family member that is also helping them pay the rent or the mortgage. And that's basically what that next statement says. A lot of people said, I think 30% said they wouldn't be able to afford to live in their home without that supplemental income. So this is consistent. The Mesa County Valley School District, sorry, that's a mouthful, is consistent with Mesa County as a whole. So average individual incomes are just over $36,000, and average household incomes are just under $70,000. So as you saw from the previous slide, and your median home prices, and again, this data is a little outdated now. It's almost a year old. So from July 2023, median home price $378,000, and median gross rent just over $1,000, almost $1,100 a month. So I'll stop. Should I stop there, Dr. Hill, and take questions, or go through the entire presentation to the end? Just wanted to see if there were questions about the survey itself.
Yeah, that's a great question. Does the board have any questions about the results of the survey, or do you want them to keep going? Okay. Yeah, you're good. Okay, great. Thank you. So what can the school district do? So this is an outline of what I'm going to talk about pretty quickly here, just a dozen slides or so. Positioning for public-private partnerships. You're going to hear me say the word partnership a lot, because school districts are in the business of educating students, not historically, not in the business of anything else, particularly housing. So we'll be talking about land opportunities, direct subsidies, and cost reductions, as well as programs. So homeowner and renter assistance programs, preserving and attaining affordable housing, and master lease programs. Those are a few things we'll talk about how the district might be able to help out. So why partnerships matter? I basically just stated that to state the obvious. School districts need assistance from other partners that understand housing and work in the housing realm. It's not school district's business. Attracting outside organizations. So a great organization that you're currently starting to work with is
Housing Resources of Western Colorado. They're located in Grand Junction, and they're able to connect your employees to many programs. I can't see on the screen or see the list of who's is Emily here?
Yeah, she's joining us in the audience.
Okay, great. I have a couple slides from her. I don't know if she's able to discuss what Housing Resources of Western Colorado does, or I can easily give an overview of these.
Yeah, she's coming up now. So
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I had this on my calendar for 5:30.
Oh,
That's my bad.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Emily Powell from Housing Resources of Western Colorado. Nice to see you all again. It's been really fun to work on this project. Very briefly, as the slide shows, we have services really intended to cover the whole housing needs spectrum. So we have services for renters, for people who are trying to buy a home, and for people who are already a homeowner and need to fix up their home or make energy improvements. We serve 15 counties on the Western Slope, but we were started here in Junction, and we're headquartered here in Junction, and this is really where we have the vast majority of our services. I don't want to interrupt the flow of JJ's presentation here, so I'll hand it back to him and take his cues on where he'd like me to add in, but I'm also very happy to answer questions once JJ's completed his presentation.
Great. Thank you, Emily. So just briefly, I'll go over some renter and buyer assistance programs. And again, many of these programs are programs that Emily's group in Housing Resources is already doing and can help out the school district. So down payment assistance program, it's exactly what it sounds like. This is a program that helps employees that are wanting to buy a home, but as those of you that are homeowners know, that's one of the hardest hurdles to getting home ownership is coming up with that down payment. So providing assistance either through grants or loans for the down payment. These also include closing costs needed to buy homes. You'll see in many of these slides, or almost all of the remaining slides, we are providing hyperlinks to a variety of precedents and case studies across the state, many of them not far from you down in Eagle County. And they're doing a lot of really great programs for affordable housing, and particularly the school district with employee housing, as well as some in the Front Range too. So you'll also see on each of these remaining slides, I've put constraints for the school district for this particular program. The constraint for down payment assistance and closing cost assistance, it requires staff time and partnerships with housing authorities or nonprofit organizations like Emily's group. And again, you'll hear me say that a lot, partnerships. Rental deposit assistance. So again, very similar to down payment, coming up with first and last month's rent. Very challenging for most folks. So there's assistance to provide either financing, short-term financing for a deposit for first and last month's rent, or forgivable, depending on if there's a term for that rental unit. It can be based on that length of term, so that down rental deposit may not have to be paid back under somebody stays in that unit for a given period of time. And that goes with all of these. These are all sort of blanket examples, and under each one of these has numerous ways that you can structure it. The constraint here, again, requires direct funding. So where does that money actually come from? Master lease program. So we've talked a lot about this one. This is where an employer, so the school district, and an apartment complex negotiate a set number of units. So just to use round numbers, let's say there's an apartment complex of 100 units, and the school district signs a master lease with them saying, we will take 20% of your units, 20 units, and guarantee that those units will be rented. The Eagle County School District is doing this as well as, I believe, Aspen as well. have been very successful. The constraint, it does lock the school district into leases, but the counter of that is there's such high demand for housing that it's most likely not a constraint. So if the school district signs a lease for 20 units, most likely you'll never have a problem renting those units out, because typically in other school districts or other employers, there's a waiting list for these. Other programs is working with preferred lenders. So because the district is so large, they have the opportunity working with local banks that can establish more favorable loans and rates specifically for district employees. Other type of employers have taken advantage of this, working with lenders. Really no constraint on that if you have those existing relationships with some of your local banks. Although not a huge expense, it certainly helps a lot of folks that are having trouble with housing, moving expenses, relocation assistance, just a one-time, cash payment to help employees move to the area and get into housing. Again, the constraint requires direct funding. Some of the most relevant school district and partner funding options. Going to talk briefly about some of those. So here's one that we've discussed with this group a fair amount. District-owned land. So we're seeing school districts generally across the state and across the country typically own a lot of land, and sometimes unused land. So selling or donating that land and or unused buildings, either to local government entities or other nonprofit organizations that actually build housing, is an opportunity for the school district. It leverages that property you own. There's also opportunity if the school district owns more desirable land, we'll say, like we used one example, or we discussed one example of land adjacent to the river. I'm not sure which river, but maybe Colorado River. That land could actually be sold at market rate, and then the proceeds could be used to underwrite affordability, to partner with somebody to build school district housing, employee housing. Case study on that one, Habitat for Humanity in the Vail Valley. They've been utilizing a lot of their land. We're seeing a lot of this in the Front Range too, with Denver Public Schools, also one of the major landowners in the Denver metro area. The constraint there, as I mentioned, not really a constraint. It's one of the best opportunities for the school district, as the district owns a lot of viable properties that could either be sold and or developed by a development partner. Just some details on some case studies. So in the Vail Valley, Habitat for Humanity is doing a lot of great work up there. They've completed just recently a dozen homes for educators as well as public service workers for the county, and the land was donated by the school district. So the school district is a partner in that development, and they're looking at doing more in that region, which is great. Also, some smaller school districts across the state, Custer County, they've converted an old building that was formerly a preschool into 4 affordable apartments. And really cool program that the renovation was done by a high school program, as well as volunteers to learn trades and learn how to convert older buildings into housing. In Salida School District, Habitat for Humanity in that region built 10 new housing units, 4 sale units, sold them to district employees below market rate, and they also used building trades students for that construction. So really, really cool program that's worth looking into. Other potential partners are your higher education institutions. So Colorado Mesa University Tech, seeking partnerships with them. Colorado Mountain College, they're doing a lot of great things across the state. Again, over in Eagle, I'm using Eagle for a lot of these examples. They actually are developing 72 units of housing for faculty and staff on college property. So in summary here, as I mentioned on the partnerships, this is probably not a comprehensive list of all the potential partners that the school district could work with. Grand Junction, of course, the city of Grand Junction, the county, your health systems. Again, major employees in your region. So partnering with the health institutions, as well as your local housing authority, the Grand Junction Housing Authority, and as I just mentioned, the university, as well as Habitat for Humanity. And these are partnerships in addition to your current partner with the Western Housing Resources of Colorado, with Emily. So I believe that's it for the presentation. So now we'd like to open it up to any questions or conversation or discussion for us. And Emily as well, as she mentioned, if you have questions for her about her program.
Does the board have any questions that you can think of right now? Is there, I don't know if any of these communities, did they start maybe with one thing like down payment assistance and then maybe move into something else as they saw it? Like, is there sort of like kind of a frame of reference that maybe some of these communities started like smaller and then kind of grew into something as they saw the need or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, yes. So most communities generally start small, like the low hanging fruit. So let's as you mentioned, the example of down payment assistance or rental assistance. Another one is on the partnership front is working with your local partners. So you heard me say Habitat for Humanity a lot, reaching out to them. With Emily in the room. So Housing Resources of Western Colorado is one of your best partners, which you're already working with, to help you with helping employees understand and know what programs are available. A lot of this work is just getting the information out there. The programs exist. Assistance is already out there in your region with her group. And it's really just helping your employees find the resources is a great starting point.
And if I could add to that, that's exactly what the group has talked about. So your administrative leadership team has been really genuinely engaged in these conversations. And where we thought the starting point would be that, just as JJ said, the low-hanging fruit. What could we connect people to today without the school district having to come up with a whole different pot of money? So we've been talking with your leadership team about our Partners in Homeownership program and how could we do some really targeted outreach to your employees to connect them to programs that already exist. And then I think, as the district considers the success of that and the ongoing needs, you can consider some of these other maybe smaller things that you could start with. It's no coincidence that the examples that JJ and Brooke found were in these markets that are a little more hyperinflated, where this has become a true business need. Like, they just cannot staff their schools unless they do something about housing. Fortunately, Mesa County is not quite there yet, but the hope is to not let it get there, right? To get ahead of things. So we're really pleased to have the district as a potential partner in our Partners in Homeownership program. We have a down payment assistance program. We have rental units. We have our self-help program. So, and you have fantastic nonprofits in Mesa County in addition to Housing Resources. So that seems to be the best place to start.
No, that's good to hear. So I think if we can just get it out to especially the age range or the survey range where they were saying that they'd like a path to home ownership, first connecting them with you, and then as we continue to visit with you, you could say, maybe here's some of the barriers we're seeing, and then see if that's something the district could step in and help with or not. So,
Absolutely.
any other questions? Well, great. Well, Emily and JJ, thank you guys for that. Dr. Hill, did you have
Yeah, I was just exactly what you were saying. I wanted to make sure to thank JJ and Emily, and then the other folks that were on that list on the slide for all the meetings. Because remember, this was a continuation of some of the work that was done prior, when there was a committee that was together that was looking at this issue, and then the grant was written, and then it allowed us to get this this study going. So I am appreciative of the data. It's good data. We have a great starting point. And then we do have some other options that we want to continue to explore. Like you said, viable options around if we have land and things like that we want to look into. So, but it's good to have a good starting point. And I know Nikki and Emily have already been connecting and working on that. So that's a long-winded way of saying thank you. Thank you all.
Awesome. Yes, thank you. Thank you. All right, well, we now have up next our Grand Junction High School construction update. So thanks, Emily, for your time. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you all very much. We really
Thanks,
appreciate
JJ.
it.
Have a
It's
good
been-
evening.
It's been a great project. Yeah, you too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
We got the whole crew here. That's great. Do we have a video to round this out this evening?
Oh, just you wait. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Good one.
Yes.
How do I get over to that? Let's see. Actually, I got it right here. Thankfully, I was able to figure it out. Well, it's great seeing everybody once again. I'm Mike Adams with Dynamic Program Management, the owner's rep on the project. With me up here, I've got Colleen Kaneda, principal for DPM, Eddie Mort, director of facilities for the school district, and Peter Eisenogel, owner of the Blythe Group. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. As always, a quick overview of the schedule and budget. As you can see, we are rapidly approaching that little gold star there in that middle bar. Start of school is starting beginning of August. So just a couple months away from that. Things are going really great. Everything in the budget is tracking. And as you'll see here in just a couple slides, progress is coming along great as well with furniture installation pretty far along. One of the three contractors is 100% done, and the other two contractors are finishing up this week. So furniture is almost done. Fitness equipment is installed, shop equipment's installed, bleachers. We're expecting to have the CO in hand here this week. So, right now there's still a lot of parts moving between abatement. We have two different abatement contractors on site. One is handling the outbuildings on the east side of the site, and the other is handling the main building, starting on the north side and working their way south. We've got the mover in there ahead of the abatement contractors, getting rooms cleared out so that they can do their work. There's still a lot of site work going on. As school got out, they took over that old parking lot there in between the existing building and the football field and started, tearing that out, getting the earthwork ready for the new parking lot that's going back there. Commissioning is wrapping up this week, and like I mentioned, we are expecting the certificate of occupancy this week. What we have here is just a site diagram to show you guys, there is still quite a bit of work left on this project, close to a year left of site work. So that yellow right there you see on the screen, that is what I just mentioned FCI is working on right now. The green is complete. Blue is where the existing school is sitting. As soon as that abatement is done, that will get torn down and they'll work on the rest of that parking lot. You'll notice there they are doing everything they can to try to get that paved before winter sets in, but it will be close. There will be adequate parking for the school here by the time school opens. There's a little bit of work there on the north side as well. Right now there's a giant dirt pile out there, and that's what they're going to be using to backfill a lot of the building and use under the parking lot. So that will be wrapped up this winter as well. And then the south side of the site, soccer field, baseball field, tennis courts, everything like that will go into, late spring, early summer this next year. Here's just a couple metrics and a couple fun pictures of move out, abatement. Like I said, still quite a few things going on. but I'll let you read those metrics here on your own. With that, what everybody's been looking forward to, we have a video.
Like it's Jock Jams.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Last time we sing the fight song, and we do it together. The band's gonna play it first without us. The second time through is when we join. All right? Mr. Nagli, on you.
Boom.
Yeah, so that I think is kind of a good overview of the project. I hope you guys get out there to see it sometime soon. It's a beautiful building. I do want to mention the last kind of parts of the building that is currently being wrapped up is the auditorium. So the CO I mentioned that we're expecting this week, the auditorium is kind of an exception. That area of the building will be sectioned off there, not far away from finishing it up. They're just waiting on the seats to come in, which I believe are this Friday. So they'll get the seats in and then all the final touches. I believe it's into June, I think, is when that is scheduled to be wrapped up. So any questions? All right.
Need to get out and do a tour for sure, like soon. It's been actually a few months, so it'd be good to go see with all the furniture and stuff in now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say, it's cool seeing those pictures. It's like kind of emotional. So thanks to the voters for approving that bond in 21, because this is going to be huge for our kids. And thanks to the folks up here, but Clint and his team, the GJHS staff, everybody who's been working on the project, but then also over the last few weeks to get all the stuff moved and get out of that old building. It's a lot of work to get ready for this fall, and so appreciate all the work they are doing. I should also mention we've had staff at Fruita Middle School and 8-9 as well working on the transitions there, and so thanks to all the staff working there. So just a lot of gratitude for everyone who's been working on this. And it's a project that's on time and under budget, and we're really excited about that. I will say the August 3rd date that's up there, because this will be the last time y'all give an update before we get into the fall. So we do hope the community will come out August 3rd, 10 to 2. We'll have a ceremony at 10 to do the ribbon cutting, and then tours right after that. So we hope the whole community will come out and see a school that our students deserve. So thank you all for all the work you've been doing.
Thank you, guys.
I don't know if anybody else feels like it, but I feel like the time has flown by since the moment we got on the board in 21, which I know there was a lot of prep before that, but to see how much has happened in that amount of time is no small thing.
It is. I've been attending the OIC meetings every week. I haven't been there in person for a while, but I get on virtually when I can't get over there, or when I wear white pants. I told Mike I'd be there earlier today, and I looked down and I thought, I'm not going in that trailer in these white pants. But it has, when you get, I guess, to the back end of the completion of a project like this, it feels very quick. There was a time about a year ago that it probably didn't feel very quick to anybody that was working on the project. But also hats off to Principal Sorensen and his team. They have, according to the meeting today, the move out, everything has just gone as smoothly as I think anybody could have hoped. And to have everything just, everybody really working together. It's so inspirational when you walk into that building and you walk around and see the brilliant facility that we're going to be able to provide for a group of students. It's really inspiring, and I think everybody was just so happy about it that they did what they needed to do. They were all a little bit amazed that literally they said the door didn't close behind the last person out, and work was beginning on the abatement and to the next phase, which is taking down the old building and celebrating the new one. So thank you to everybody. It's been, and thanks for being so welcoming and patient with someone that doesn't come from the construction world to come into it and bother you with all kinds of crazy questions and issues through the last almost 3 years. So appreciate that, and thanks for everything.
And happy birthday, Eddie. Yeah, I snuck it in there. All right.
You thought you were going to get by, but you didn't. All right, well, thank you, everybody. That's a job well done and well planned and executed. And like Dr. Hill said, we're excited that it's on time and very, very, very likely under budget. So we're super excited about that. So now we have the board book discussion. So this has been something that the board has been looking at for a while. There's different platforms that different districts use to help make the interface with the public easier for searching for policies, and just a lot user-friendly website. And now that our website has been updated, the board has been looking at a couple of different, I guess, platforms. And Board Book is definitely a more affordable version. And so we were just going to look at having a discussion around that. I know when I go back to look for certain meetings or certain policies, it's a little bit of a digging, yes, that you have to do to try to find things. And then, right.
And if it's that hard for us, it's got to be really difficult for our community.
Usually I can estimate when we talked about something by a certain meeting. And then even then I have to be like, well, which one was it? So for our community to go back and say, hey, I wanted to go back to this meeting where they talked about such and such thing. And we want to make it a lot easier because we know to commit time to during the week to come to a board meeting. We know a lot of people view online, but sometimes people want to go back and reference it, or if they just wanted to watch a certain portion of it. We're just looking at trying to streamline that and make it a lot easier for our community. And it would also be a benefit to our staff and this board and future boards, just as a usability. So, do we have information that we wanted to bring to the board on this, or we're just kind of?
So I know Amy sent out information to the board just to preview it. To add to that, you're correct. Most districts, I would say, have moved to something that is a little bit more user-friendly, that is searchable. I mean, that's a huge thing, right? If you want to go to another school district's site and search for keyword for something that was brought up in a previous meeting, it pulls up all the documents that was mentioned in. So, but just being more user-friendly right now, if you want to go back and find a document, you have to, like you said, remember what month was that, and then go back and find the PDF, and it's just not as user-friendly. And so it would be, I think it would be wise for us to move to a better platform. We did have meetings we looked at some other companies as well that were more expensive, that could provide really the same thing that Board Book provides, but Board Book would do it for a lot smaller price. We also had Amy a part of those conversations because obviously Amy would be interfacing with it a lot to make sure that that made sense for her. We had Dan Burke, our head of technology, as part of those conversations for could things be shifted over from our old, well, it's not really a platform, but our website. And then also Callie would be interfacing with a lot as well with communication. So they've all been a part of the process too. We can get, like I said, it's a really small price, especially through Colorado and CASB have a deal with them so that districts can actually get a discounted price on this. So it would be a pretty minimal amount that we could pull out of the board's budget for something like this that I think it'd be good for the board, it'd be good for the community, and it actually matches one of our strategic plan priority areas of being more transparent with communication and with our community. So I would advise we move towards it, but yeah, if there's specific questions that board members have beyond the information was sent out, we can also set up a time for the folks to do a demo like they did with us as well. So, and if we did want to go towards this, and we're not asking for a vote or anything, but if the board wanted to move forward with this, we can, we've talked about working over the summer to get it hopefully implemented for the new school year.
So CASB uses the board books, so I've actually used it and interfaced with it. I know we originally looked at board docs. That one is significantly more expensive, and they were kind of shifting some of the stuff that they were doing, and I personally didn't feel like it really met the needs that we were looking for in the district. And then board books was presented that CASB can offer it, like Dr. Hill said, to the participating districts in CASB for like a fraction of the cost of what board docs is. And so
Yeah, I think it comes out to like $200 a month or
Yeah.
something for you to
it
have
was only a
this.
few thousand a year, where
Yeah.
board docs was like thousands and thousands of dollars a year. So
Kind of a commitment.
do we have like a yearly?
Is it just an annual?
I think when it said it was annual when we talked to them, yeah.
Yeah. So I personally interface with board books when I go to my CASB meetings, and I feel like it's a much easier way to find bookmarks, like on your meeting agenda items. So if you want to skip right to something in that meeting, it's much easier to jump to once you're on the website. And then we would use that as a board too, like our agendas would be housed there. So right now we have to get into, our Google Drive and go to our agendas. Now we would all just log into board books, and everything would be right there with the links that we need. So it's just a lot more efficient. And then that also be what the public would be able to utilize as well.
So do we have an estimate on what kind of time and labor it's going to take to get this thing loaded and
We
running?
started
I'm
on it
kind of
soon,
looking
then
at
we could
Callie over
likely
there
have it ready to go.
and Amy. You think you can, I mean, how far back can you have that? Are we going in arrears, or are we just starting from
We'll just
today?
start like,
So everything we're going to have to look for that's already happened, we're still going to have to
it'll
do the
take
old
like
way?
a month for me to, do all the training, and then we'll start like fresh with it.
Yeah, but, that's right, and then, but all the old documents, we would work with them to get that uploaded into the system, so you would still be able to go back and find
Okay.
old documents, yeah.
Right, so Amy will just start it from, let's just say, August on, and then they'll work on getting all of our old information on the platform.
And how far back do we think we'll go? A couple of years? I
We
mean,
can-
All the way back to the handwritten notes
I guess as much as we have.
you know what?
of 18.
I
no,
think we
don't-
just take it year by year and go back as, we can go 23, 22, 21, 20,
Yeah,
and just kind
And
of go
just see
back
how
that
far we
way.
need to go.
And then I think really getting all the policies on there is going to be really helpful. And then just knowing that our meetings moving forward, and along with video, is going to be much easier for the board and the community to use.
So is that going to be the primary location where our policies are going to be housed?
Well, I think there might still be a spot on the website
Yeah,
too, right?
it's a good question. These are all things that, as we implement it, we'd have to figure out. I would assume you'd keep both running at least until the transition happens. And then my understanding is that it's a lot more user-friendly to even search policies within that platform. So if we find that that is better utilized, then we could pull off from the website the page with the policies right now and then have that be where they're housed. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, if you all have any other questions about it, I would say get with, Amy or Dr. Hill. I I think it's something that is worth us moving forward on. I think we have this really nice new website and interface, and I think the board stuff is just a little archaic in my, not archaic, but we're just kind of all over the place. And I think if we can have it all housed in one spot, and I think the price is really good.
I think the main thing for me is it's just so difficult it's difficult for us to search.
So the
It's more difficult for our community to search, and for the sake of transparency, I think it would really benefit everyone to go ahead and do
Yeah, so unless we heard, folks have questions, we'll give it a week or so if board members have any questions or anything, but otherwise, we'll plan on moving forward with trying to get it going so that gives us time to be ready for the fall. So, and that would be the goal, like I said, but we'll see how it goes. Our goal with the website too, like sometimes things take a little while, but then when they're done, they're perfect.
Yes. Oh, that was nice. That was
No pressure,
a
Cal.
make up for the other week, so. All right, well, thank you. So, all right, now moving into business items, we do have a resolution this evening for the displacements due to grant funding reductions. So this is just something where with the ESSER funds that we had, some of these positions are coming to an end. The board has asked that there's plenty of positions open and available for all of these individuals to apply to positions. So I'll just read the resolution because it is shorter. So it just says, whereas if the Board determines a drop in enrollment, turnaround, phase out, reduction in program, or reduction in building necessities, it necessitates action that may require the displacement of one or more teachers, it shall adopt a resolution that identifies the action and the reasons for this action. So the district is experiencing a reduction in the funding through the Title I and the ESSER grant. Due to these funding reductions, the district may potentially displace one or more teachers. To the extent possible, the board shall establish the actual number of teacher positions to be displaced consistent with the board's authority to establish educational programs within the district. So, therefore be resolved, these funding reductions may potentially displace 3 non-probationary teachers for the 24-25 school year. And so again, we do know that we have positions available. So we just have that resolution this morning. So, or this morning, gosh, I'm way off here this evening. So do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
Okay, seeing none, we can go ahead and take the vote.
Mrs. Evanson,
Yes.
Mrs. Heights,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Lima.
Yes.
All right, that passes 4-0. And is there any board open discussion?
I don't really have any discussion, but I just want to kind of give a shout out because it is start of Pride Month, so just give a shout out to, everybody out there.
Any other?
And I just add to that last resolution, so I do want to say a shout out to our HR team because, looking at the numbers of available positions, like you mentioned, there are positions still available, so these individuals could still apply for them, but it's also great to see the number of available positions being smaller at this point in the year, and that's because I think we were able to post positions earlier, but then also the hard work of our HR team and our school staff for doing all the hiring. So that's a good thing, and thanks to them for all their work to try to get our schools fully staffed before the start of the school year.
That's great, thank you. Good job. All right, any other discussion? Okay, well, if you think of anything or anything that you want on the agenda, let myself or Director Jones know, or Dr. Hill, as we have our agenda meetings. All right, I would take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Look at that, before 6 o'clock. Just a few.
Magical.